Hi, good morning. Thanks very much for joining me for Marketing Monday. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution and Marketing Monday. It's where we sit, share a beverage, we talk about various ways and methods and platforms for you to use to market and promote your mediation practice. Got my cup of coffee here. I hope you're settled in with your beverage of choice. For me today, just coffee and a little bit of cream. Mm. Always good. Always good. All right. So today on Marketing Monday, I want to talk about differentiation. I want to talk about the value of practices that create for themselves a unique selling position, differentiation, and how you go about doing that. While I'm talking, feel free to say hello in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what your questions might be, and I'll answer them here in the video while we're talking. So when we're talking about differentiation, we're talking about the ways in which you set your practice apart from others. And when I did a quick look on LinkedIn recently, there are almost 990,000 individuals on LinkedIn worldwide who self-describe themselves as being mediators. So that's a lot of competition. And so let's talk about how you can set your practice apart from the competition. So let me tell you a story. It's been a few years, but when my husband and I were looking for a house to buy, we had to choose a real estate agent, like your clients have to choose a mediator. And so when we were looking for a real estate agent, we weren't looking for differences in pricing structure. Generally speaking, real estate commissions are sort of all the same. The marketing methods are sort of all the same. The way in which we chose the real estate agent that we used was that she had set her real estate agency apart from the others because she used video. So she didn't take just the normal sort of glossy photographs, the staged photographs of a home that was for sale. Instead, she took a video camera with her and she walked through the property from the sidewalk, the front gate, up to the front door, through the front door, and then she walks you through the house. Every single room, every cupboard, every utility room, every room in the house. And then she walked around the property, showing any outbuildings, gardens, what have you. And for us, that set her apart because it meant that we could sit here cozy in our house, in our pajamas, drinking our coffee, looking at houses that we wanted to book appointments to see. And that was a really big difference for us as buyers. It was a comfort level for us. And then we weren't just sort of driving everywhere throughout, Normandy, hoping that the photographs were representative of the homes that we were seeing online. So that was a great way for her to differentiate her business from the others. And that's why we chose her. So when we're talking about differentiation for mediators and arbitrators, it could be lots of different things. So you have to think a little bit about generally how our industry breaks down. And the first step is sort of into two categories. One is family, divorce, custody, pet custody, etc. And the other is the civil commercial end of things. And so generally, those are the two tracks that we take. But from there's so many great choices that you get to make. So you can differentiate on specialty. You can differentiate on price. You can differentiate on platform that you use, whether you're online, in person, or a hybrid. You can differentiate your practice based on your experience. You can differentiate your practice based on your passion. You can differentiate your practice in lots of different ways. So let's talk about what some of those might be. So I said a second ago, you could differentiate your family practice from other family practices. So maybe your specialty is pet custody. That's a major issue for a lot of people who are separating. Pet custody. You could differentiate on parenting plans. You can differentiate based on represented or unrepresented clients. You could differentiate yourself by providing parties a pre-mediation workbook so that they can work through all of the things that they think that they would like to talk about and settle in a mediation. You can differentiate yourself in a lot of different ways. You could differentiate yourself in the family sector, for instance, by providing mediation services evenings or weekends so that people don't have to take time off of work. You could provide a licensed or certified babysitter in your office so that children can come with their parents, be in a separate room, play games, play video games, read books, be with someone who's licensed and certified, while the parents can mediate their divorce or their settlement with you. And in that way, they don't have to find childcare. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can differentiate your practice. If it's civil commercial, it's generally better to differentiate based on specialty. And it could be, again, anything that you have a great amount of experience in or something that you're really passionate about. It's counterintuitive, but generally speaking, the more you differentiate, the greater your specialty is, the smaller your niche is, the easier it is to market and promote and build your practice. So as opposed to saying civil commercial, you would want to say personal injury or wrongful death or motorcycle accidents. Gets really small. And in that way, you're researching, keeping up to date on a very small section of an industry, of case law. You're communicating a very clear message. Your website is very clear. Your documents are very clear. Everything just becomes a lot easier to do. Now, if you live in a very small community and you only want to do in-person mediations, then you might have to expand that and go back to the general civil commercial kind of caseload. But you can differentiate your practice, even if it's a wide range sort of practice, on other things. You can differentiate on price. You can differentiate on customer service. You can differentiate on your convening process, your hours, lots of different ways to make yourself different. And one of the things that I always recommend to clients when we are coming up with these strategies for differentiation is to look at the competition. So do a quick Google search or a search on LinkedIn and see what other people who have that same specialty are offering. How do they offer it? How do they communicate their message? What is it that makes their practice different or unique? And then think about how you can be different from that practice or from that person. Maybe it's your personality. It could be any number of things. I have clients who have differentiated their practice even somewhat far afield from what their experience would normally dictate that they do. So I had a client, I had offices in Santa Monica, California for 16 years, and I had a client with a tremendous background in labor law, employment law, wage and hour kinds of cases, and decades worth of experience. And this person would come in and we would talk about, all of the different ways that we were marketing and promoting, and the meeting would come to a conclusion. And at the end of it, this client would say, all right, now let me show you what I brought. And this person was so passionate about the wine industry and wine in general that just for funsies, just for fun, nobody else does this, they became a sommelier. That's amazing to me. And I don't know anything at all about wine. I know, when you open it up, if it tastes good or if it doesn't taste good, that's the limit of my wine knowledge. But this mediator knew everything about wine, would spend weekends going to vineyards and wine tastings, and would bring me bottles of wine and say, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this one? And I kept asking, let's build a practice for you built around wine. Surely there are bottling disputes, labeling disputes, transportation issues, vine rustling, which is a real thing, copyright, trademark, all of these kinds of things. And the conversation kept getting put off because this client kept saying, well, no, I think my background is this, my experience is this, and we need to stick with this. And finally, after me saying it over and over, we did build a very robust practice built just off the specialties of wines and winemakers and wine bottlers and wine labelers and wine distributors and all of these different people. And the practice then became so much more fun for this client. The prices went up because the specialty was quite narrow. But the practice then became a very unique practice worldwide. And my client was able to travel the world, go to different vineyards, talk to different vintners, and be immersed in the world that they were so passionate about. It really made a huge difference, lifestyle difference, money difference, and practice development difference. So differentiation can be found in lots of different ways. If your background is in wedding planning, you can absolutely build a practice around triaging all of those disputes that come up when a wedding is being planned or when it's actually taking place. You can be the person to help those families through all of those discussions with vendors and with their contracts and the venues and with each other. You can build a practice off of anything, but differentiation is really, really important. And it's become more and more important as our society has become more and more specialized in everything. When you think about going to see a dentist, there are general practitioner dentists, there are oral surgeons, there are orthodontists, there are lots of different specialties. The same with architecture. You don't just hire an architect. You hire an architect who specializes in mid-century modern, or you hire an architect who specializes in industrial or commercial or whatever the project is. All of us as consumers look for that person that has that unique expertise that can really benefit us in whatever our process is. Buying a house, hiring a mediator, all of these things really make a difference. So differentiation is absolutely key to making your practice stand out. So sit down and have a cup of coffee and really think about what it is that makes you different, your practice different, your client interactions different. Really think about how you can optimize that uniqueness in you and in your practice. All right. That's it for me today, Marketing Monday. I hope your week has started off great. Let me know if you have any questions, requests, challenges that you want me to address. And that's it. I'll sign off now. Thanks very much for watching. Be good humans. Bye-bye.